Hey, I'm Ben and welcome back to Berkley Builds. In this video we'll go over 5 steps on how to drill into a wall safely. Now, this will give you the confidence to get stuck in and to do it yourself. If a simple bricklayer like me can do it, you guys certainly can. Stay around for the pro tip that's coming up, and if you haven't checked out my previous video on which drill bit to use, I'll link it in the description below. Let's get straight into step 1. Step 1. Work out the location of where you want your shelf or picture to go. There's no point drilling loads of holes in your wall, although it would make it holy. Step 2. Look for radiator pipes and electrical sockets, as we want to avoid these. Cables run in zones. That's either horizontally or vertically. Now, knowing this, we can make some assumptions. With this first box, we have a wire coming into it which is feeding the main power for the box. And the second box, we can assume, is fed from the first box in a zone here. With this main feed wire coming into this box, which you can also see at this point, we can also assume that if this second box wasn't fed from the first box in this zone, we can also assume that this box could be fed in this zone here, so you wouldn't put a screw or anything in that area. Much like cables, pipes also run vertically or horizontally. Once you've located potential pipes and cables that could cause you an issue, you'll want to isolate them both, respectively. Your stop tap, like mine, will probably be located in the kitchen somewhere, most likely underneath your sink, although mine's not in yet. Your electrical box is probably found underneath your stairs. This box will have all the fuses to all your electrical switches, namely your lighting circuits and your socket circuits. Often it's labelled along these ones, but if in doubt, pull this one down and that will isolate all your sockets. Step 3. What type of wall do you have? This can dictate what you can put on your wall. A TV bracket will be a lot heavier than a small picture. Now, you've got 2 types of wall. You've got a load bearing wall, which is typically brick and masonry, or you've got a stud wall, which is typically wood. Now, you can tell them apart as a masonry wall will sound hard, or you've got a stud wall which sounds hollow. A stud wall will have timbers called studs running top to bottom, which you can see by these screws. This is what you want to aim for when you put your screw into the wall or raw plug. You can find these, you can see them now, but you can find these on your plastered wall with a stud detector, which you can probably find in Screwfix or Toolstation. To use that, you can turn it on and pass it over the wall. As you pass it over the wall, it will bleep when it gets to the stud, and it won't beep as it goes over it. This detects the stud behind it and tells you where you can or can't screw into. This is the stud wall from the inside. Now you can see the studs running top to bottom. This is what you're aiming for. If you're learning something, consider subscribing and leaving a comment. This really helps me reach other people and lets them get stuck into DIY. Let's get back into the video. Pro tip: if you've got something awkward to put on a wall, like a TV bracket, here's one I made earlier, you can make a template of that to make it easier. Get a piece of paper, lay it over the top of your bracket and trace it. You're going to find the holes, trace over the holes, maybe poke through, trace over the holes, and poke through. This gives us a great location to set out our bracket. Let's take it to the wall. Now you've got your template, take it to the wall, and you can move the piece of paper around to find the exact location of where you want to drill your holes. Once you've found the right location and where you want the template, tape it in place with some masking tape. I've used masking tape because masking tape won't pull the paint off when I take the tape away. If you're putting a picture up in a plasterboard wall, a simple screw will be fine if you can find the stud. If you can't find a stud and you're going in an area that is just plasterboard, use a plasterboard plug. This, I'll put on the screen now, will go into the plasterboard. You can screw it straight in, and then you can screw your screw through that like a raw plug. Plasterboard plugs are really good for holding up small, low weight items. You probably don't want to hang a TV off this. When you're drilling into a masonry wall, make sure you've got a drill bit that's the right size for your raw plug, as you don't want to do a hole that's too big for your raw plug, otherwise it'll just fall through. This drill bit that I've got is the same size as the raw plug, which is 7mm. So we'll drill into the wall and put the raw plug in. Okay, your raw plug, put it at the small end down so that fan bits are facing out, because they grab into the wall as you pop it in. Can you see that? Sort of. Those fan bits stop the raw plug being pulled out. We'll hammer the raw plug in just so it's flush with the surface. Then we can get our drill or screwdriver, screw the screw in. Remember to leave it out slightly so your picture can hang, because if you screw it all the way you just won't get anything onto it. So you've got a raw plug in the wall with a screw that's just slightly out, so you can hang a piece of cord or a piece of string onto it. So if you've got a screw that's in the wrong place, you can remove it with a hammer. Get a hammer behind it and pull it out. Now we can drill it in the right place. Step 5, grab your picture, you're nearly done. We're going to take it and hang it on the wall. Oh. Thanks for watching. I hope this video filled you with more confidence to get stuck in. If you're unsure which drill bit to use, check out my previous video, which I'll link in the description below. My next video is from one of my subscribers, Tegan Brown. That'll be on how to tile. Check that out next week.